The Mets have a big 9-game lead in the NL East. And Cam, it seems like they get it done in several different ways. And obviously, I mean, you were part of this club last year. Anthony, I know you played on the Mets as well. What's different about this Mets team?
You know, being in that clubhouse last year, a couple things that struck me, you know, I thought they lacked leadership. I thought there was a little lack of focus, you know, throughout that clubhouse. A lot of talent, but
players, manager,
both ways. And that's, you know, that's with all respect to Louis and what he was doing. He's a great guy. People love being around Luis Rojas. But what I saw, they were lacking a couple leaders. Great players don't always make you a leader.
Yep.
You know, bringing in a Max Scherzer was huge. A guy who was notorious for winning, notorious for being focused and dialed in. And then you add a guy like Buck Showalter. I thought this was the acquisition of the season throughout baseball.
Wow,
I seen a lot of, you know, new faces going to new places. But I thought Buck Showalter's going to the New York Mets was exactly what they needed. A guy who had focus, who had allowed them to play, who there were no excuses. He's going to put the best product out on the field. And you see it right now. Guys are buying into that. Guys are rooting for each other. They're happy for each other. You watch, you know, Eduardo get that cycle last night, and you just see the elation from the dugout. You see Frankie at the top of the dugout.
That was so
You see J.D.
fun.
Davis jumping up like a little kid in the candy store. So, you know, what I think Buck has been able to do, there's no stat for that, but, you know, he's definitely leading those guys in the right direction. They're fun to watch.
I love what they're doing, and I'm going to take it one step further because Buck was a great hire. They've had a lot of great hires. Jeremy Hefner and the pitching coach, that was a couple years ago, but they brought Eric Chavez in to be the hitting coach. He has really brought this group together, and they've got an identity. They've got a true identity. They're going out there. They're not striking out.
Yep.
They are putting the ball in play. They put together great ABs. Not a single one of these guys throws at bats away. And that is impressive to see. We saw the graphic a second ago. What they're doing right now, you see the run scored. They're leading all of baseball.
Yep.
You look at the percentage of runs via the home run, and they're low. They're in the bottom of baseball when it comes to that. So it's really impressive. They are putting the ball in play. They're getting base hits. And like I said, J.D. Davis in the last couple days has put together great at-bats that have helped them set up winning runs or set up, you know, the next run to score. They've had a lot of guys contribute, and it's really impressive. I love professional ABs, and when a team comes together and coalesces like that, the entire lineup, it's really hard to stop.
And Cam, just real quick, let's focus on that point because it's an important one. So a lot of fans would see that and say, oh, man, they're one of the lowest teams when it comes to runs via the home run.
Yeah.
But the flip side of that, and the better point to that, is that, like you said, they don't strike out a lot, which means they put the ball in play. So if they're scoring runs and they're not hitting the ball in the park, that's what wins postseason baseball.
There it is.
And that's what we used to call small ball. They understand their identity. We talk about things that, to me, that matter. Average still matters. This team leads the league in team average. Like you said, that's why they have quality at-bats. That's why they see a lot of pitches. They walk a lot. Their own base percentage is high. So when you're on base, when you're getting, you know, guys on, getting traffic on base, it allows you to have opportunities to score runs. And what they do well, adding a Mark Canha, adding a Starling Marte, seasoned guys who are really good players. I think the world forgot how effective and how dangerous these guys were. When you throw those guys into a lineup and you have a guy like Jeff McNeil hitting eighth, it lets you know just how strong they are. You know, Nemo at the top, great at-bats. Just throughout the lineup, guys who try to win each and every pitch, each and every at-bat, it goes a long way, and you're seeing them have a lot of success right now.
I think Canha, Marte, Bassett all played on the West Coast. East Coast baseball fans didn't get a chance to see that.
They all played for the A's.
And to see just how good those players are.
Yeah.
Another thing to your point is that with that lineup, so if Canha's hot, then Rodriguez doesn't, or Escobar doesn't have to be hot. If McNeil's hot, then, you know, Lindor doesn't have to be hot. They have a lineup where you're never going to have all those guys cold at the same time because they're not a bunch of home run hitters.
They had a lineup where you could send Dom Smith to AAA.
Which is a little scary.
A little bit of a luxury. A little bit of a luxury.
Which is why they're always in games and they're coming back and they're winning these late games as well.